guess it wasn't new in one sense, is that everyone kind of knew there was a takeover in the offing, and the identity of the possible bidder has been talked about. But I think this was the first time Mark Palios had committed. He'd actually put it in black and white in writing to say this is what's happening. Before that it had been, we don't comment on speculation, etc. So it was good to get that as an official kind of statement from the club.
Absolutely, and it does seem an upgrade on the wording they used when he was on Radio Merseyside a few weeks earlier, when he said that a sale was imminent. To then go and say that it's agreed does seem like a step up on that. Would that be fair to say semantically?
Yeah, I mean, it may well be semantics. It may well be that it was agreed at that point, but we all know that any sale of a football club, whether it be a Premier League club or an EFL club, just seems to go on for a long time, doesn't it? It just seems to be quite protracted. You obviously got the rules of the league itself, the fit and proper person test, etc. And then at the end of the day, you can agree a deal, and it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a deal agreed for someone to buy a club, and then when it comes to the day, they have to pay the money. The money isn't there for whatever reason. At some point, they have to show that they have the funds to buy the club. So whether that has happened, we don't know. You'd hope. I mean, this. I don't know too much about this. This US investment company that's allegedly involved in the deal, but they seem to be pretty legit. So you'd hope that the money's there.
And the word agreed can mean different things, can't it? It could mean a
It
verbal agreement. It could mean a handshake. It could mean a written agreement. It could mean a contract somewhere has been signed saying certain things need to be fulfilled before the actual deal is 100% completed. Absolutely. So again, we are looking at the word semantics again.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, I guess we'll see in the coming weeks. I mean, again, Mark Palios has made no secret of the fact, for quite a while now, that he's looking to sell the club. I always think it must be a pretty thankless task owning a football club. I think particularly in the EFL, in the lower leagues, when I guess the clubs are much closer to the communities, aren't they? They're much more kind of involved in and Tranmere certainly is. You can't fault Mark Palios on that. The club does a lot locally, so that comes with it a lot of scrutiny as well. Certainly, I was looking at the social media comments under my story, and as with any football fans, there's a certain amount of kind of mistrust and hostility of owners, isn't there? It's just the nature of the beast, I suppose. But people like Mark Palios must go overnight thinking, pour themselves a glass of wine or whatever, and think, why do I do this? No matter how successful you think you're going to be, or how much work you do towards making the club a success, I mean, it's not an exact science, is it? Getting it right on the field is quite difficult, as we've seen from Rovers this season. So the owners are going to get it in the neck, and that goes with the territory. I mean, I think the other thing to say, Matt, I mean, clearly there's strong interest from this US investor in buying the club, so they obviously see value in it. I was checking before, apparently a third of EFL clubs now have US ownership. I didn't realise that was the case until today. So, and why are they interested? Well, I guess what they'd really want, I guess, is to own a Premier League football club because of the revenue streams that come with that. But the level of entry into buying a Premier League club is quite high. So, EFL clubs represent certainly a lot of value. There's a lot of potential value in promotion. The revenues suddenly go up, the TV deals go up, the higher you up the pyramid you go. There's potential to develop player sales. Some clubs will come with real estate. I mean, obviously, Tranmere have been talking for a few years now about building a new stadium and selling off the land that the Prenton Park sits on. So again, there's value in those type of assets as well. So I mean, you might look at Tranmere at the moment and say, oh, they're in a difficult place, but obviously, investors are seeing value in it. And if we take Mark Palios' comments in the accounts at face value, he said, if this deal doesn't work out, actually, there are other interested parties, and we'll certainly go back and talk to them. So clearly, if if we take what he says at face value, there's a lot of interest in buying the clubs. That I think from a supporter point of view, I think you can be quite optimistic about the prospects of the club in the future.